Did you ever think we'd see Johnny Depp back in a big Hollywood movie again? After everything he went through, all the court battles, the news stories and the internet arguments, most people thought his career was done. For years, fans asked if he'd ever be in a major film again. But now, the comeback everyone hoped for is finally here. And it's not just a small return, it's a full circle moment that feels almost perfect. You can feel the excitement. People who grew up watching Pirates of the Caribbean, Edward Scissorhands, and Willy Wonka are cheering. Johnny Depp, the man who brought so many amazing characters to life, is finally taking his place back in the spotlight. After years of being away from big-budget Hollywood films, he's getting ready for a major return. One that might change his legacy forever. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you've been following Johnny's story, you know how complicated and emotional it's been. It hasn't just been a celebrity scandal, it's been a story of loss, strength, and redemption. Millions of fans around the world watched him go through one of the most talked-about trials in entertainment history. But through it all, he never completely disappeared. He kept creating, kept working, and quietly built his path toward a comeback. And now, that moment has arrived. Johnny Depp is returning to Hollywood in a brand new way. Today we're breaking down how this comeback started, what projects he's working on, and why this new chapter might be the most meaningful one of his career. So stay till the end, because there are some fascinating behind-the-scenes details you won't want to miss. Let's start with the story that led here. Johnny Depp wasn't just a famous actor. He was one of the most loved people in the world. For decades, he was Hollywood's mysterious golden boy. He had charm, talent, and this special ability to become anyone, from weird characters to emotional, troubled souls. His performances were never predictable. He brought magic to every role he played. But in 2016, everything changed. That year marked the beginning of one of the most intense periods of his life. After his split from Amber Heard, the world watched a private relationship turn into a public storm. 2 years later, Amber published a written piece in which she hinted that Depp had been abusive. Even though she didn't mention his name, everyone knew who she meant, and that single article changed everything. Studios pulled contracts, he lost roles, his reputation, carefully built over decades, seemed to vanish overnight. Disney quietly distanced itself from him, and he was asked to step away from Fantastic Beasts. It was a shocking fall for someone who had once been at the very top. The court of public opinion hit him hard. On social media, debates raged, news outlets ran stories every day, and for a while, it felt like Johnny Depp's career was truly over. But here's the thing about Johnny. He's always been strong. He's never been someone who chases attention or headlines. Instead of trying to fight his way back into the spotlight, he took a step back. He focused on what he loved: art, music, and independent films. He traveled, painted, played guitar, and surrounded himself with people who believed in him. He didn't rush, he rebuilt quietly. And now, after years of waiting, that patience is paying off. Johnny Depp has landed his first major Hollywood role in years, and it's not just any film. It's a big-budget reimagining of Charles Dickens's classic A Christmas Carol. But this version, titled Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol, isn't your typical cheerful holiday story. It's dark, emotional, and deeply symbolic, almost like a reflection of Depp's own journey. He's playing the iconic role of Ebenezer Scrooge, the cold-hearted man haunted by the ghosts of his past, present, and future, who must face himself to earn redemption. Think about it. A man given one last chance to change his story. The parallels are striking. It feels like the perfect role for Johnny right now. A character who goes through pain, regret, reflection, and finally, transformation. That's a story Depp understands better than anyone. The film is being developed by Paramount Pictures, the same studio that worked with him before on Sleepy Hollow. That's already a good sign, because it shows major studios are ready to work with him again. He'll be joined by the talented Andrea Riseborough, though her role hasn't been revealed yet. And it's directed by Ty West, the visionary behind the critically acclaimed horror trilogy X, Pearl, and Maxine. So, this won't be a soft Christmas movie, it's going to have atmosphere, depth, and emotional weight. The project also has strong backing behind the scenes. Well-known producer Emma Watts is on board, and Stephen Deuters and Jason Foreman will serve as executive producers. The script is written by Nathaniel Halpern, who worked with Ty West on Tales from the Loop, a visually stunning sci-fi series on Prime Video. And according to the creators, the story is described as a thrilling ghost story set in Dickens's London, following one man's supernatural journey to face his past, present, and future and fight for a second chance. The film's release date is already set for November 13th, 2026. Assuming there are no production delays, it's going to be one of the most anticipated releases of that year. Now, what's even more interesting is that Ebenezer isn't the only project Depp has on his plate. The man has been busier than most people realize. Earlier this year, he wrapped filming for another movie called Day Drinker, an action thriller where he stars alongside Penelope Cruz and Outer Banks star Madeline Klein. The film recently finished production, and while we don't have an official release date yet, insiders say it could drop sooner than expected. And that's not all. Johnny also stepped behind the camera again. He directed his second film titled Modi, 3 Days on the Wing of Madness. The story follows the life of Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani, a brilliant artist who faced struggle, rejection, and eventually found recognition long after his hardest years. Depp said in a statement that he was incredibly honored and truly humbled to bring this story to the screen. He described Modigliani's life as one of great hardship, but also of triumph, a universal story that people can identify with. That line really captures where Johnny is right now. He knows what it's like to fall, to be misunderstood, and to fight his way back through art. The movie even features veteran actor Al Pacino, adding even more prestige to the project. And you can tell that for Johnny, this film is personal. It's not just about directing a movie, it's about expressing his own experience through another man's struggles. He's channeling his pain and perspective into something meaningful, something that speaks to strength and hope. Of course, none of this comeback would be possible without the trial that changed everything. In 2022, Johnny Depp faced Amber Heard in one of the most talked-about defamation cases of the decade. After years of being painted as the villain, he finally got the chance to share his side of the story, and the world was watching. The trial was raw, emotional, and at times heartbreaking. It revealed things that many fans never knew, but in the end, the jury ruled in his favor. He was awarded $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages. More importantly, his name was cleared. That moment wasn't about money. It was about truth. It gave Johnny a sense of peace, a moment to breathe again. And you could see it in how he carried himself afterward, calmer, grounded, and ready to move forward. Fans around the world celebrated his victory. Hashtags flooded social media. Supporters posted messages of love and encouragement. And just like that, the world started seeing Johnny Depp not as a controversy, but as a survivor of one. But what makes this comeback so powerful is that it didn't happen instantly. Depp didn't rush to sign a blockbuster right after the trial. He didn't run to red carpets or interviews. He chose to move quietly. He worked on small artistic projects. He painted. He made music with his band, the Hollywood Vampires. He toured Europe. He created art for charity. Slowly but surely, he built his confidence again, not through words but through actions. And now that he's returning to Hollywood, it feels genuine. It doesn't feel forced or staged. It feels earned. Insiders say Ebenezer is just the first of several major projects in the pipeline. There are reports that Depp is already in talks for 2 more studio films. One of them a biopic that could redefine how audiences see him in this new phase of his career. Some producers are even discussing potential franchise roles that would allow him to reinvent himself, much like he did with Pirates of the Caribbean years ago. And speaking of pirates, fans haven't given up hope. Every day, social media buzzes with posts asking Disney to bring Johnny back as Captain Jack Sparrow. Petitions with millions of signatures are still circulating online, and while Disney hasn't officially confirmed anything, they've hinted that they remain open to working with him again. It's hard to imagine anyone else wearing that pirate hat. Johnny didn't just play Jack Sparrow, he became him. The mannerisms, the voice, the humor, all his creation. Even now, when he visits hospitals dressed as Jack to surprise sick children, he proves that the character still lives through him. And that's the thing about Johnny Depp. Fame never seemed to define him. What defines him is his ability to connect to people, to characters, to stories. That's why this comeback feels different from your typical Hollywood redemption arc. It's not about revenge or proving a point. It's about returning to what he loves and doing it with grace. Hollywood seems ready to welcome him back too. Paramount's faith in casting him in a major role is a huge sign of changing tides. Industry experts are already calling this a symbolic return, not just for Depp, but for all artists who faced public trials and managed to rebuild their careers through authenticity and hard work. His fans see him as a reminder that even when the world turns against you, you can rise again, slowly, quietly, but powerfully. Looking at Johnny's career now, it's clear that he's not chasing fame the way he once did. He's choosing meaningful projects, stories that resonate, and roles that reflect real human emotion. Ebenezer, A Christmas Carol is a perfect example of that. It's not about action or spectacle, it's about reflection, transformation, and redemption. It's a story about confronting one's past, which mirrors his own path back into the light. As of now, production is moving forward smoothly, and the release date of November 13, 2026 is looking solid. The excitement surrounding the film is growing by the day. Fans are already marking their calendars, setting reminders, and sharing fan art online. Everywhere you look, from Reddit threads to Twitter discussions to movie forums, people are talking about this comeback. For years, many fans feared they'd never see Johnny Depp headline a major Hollywood film again, but now, those same people are counting down the months. It's as if the entire world is ready to watch his next chapter unfold on the big screen. Online discussions are buzzing with speculation about everything: the tone, the visuals, the emotional depth, and even the music. Some fans are expecting a hauntingly beautiful story filled with gothic imagery and emotional symbolism, while others think it might lean into dark fantasy, similar to the tone of Sleepy Hollow or Sweeney Todd. A few have pointed out how fitting it is that Johnny, who's lived through such a turbulent few years, is returning in a film about self-reflection, regret, and redemption. There's something deeply personal about it, almost as if life and art are finally merging for him. People who followed his journey feel this film will represent more than just a new role. It's a message that the man who was once cast aside by the industry is back stronger and wiser. Fans who defended him during his darkest days are treating this film like a victory. They see it as proof that strength and truth can eventually break through the noise of scandal and judgment. Even casual moviegoers who might not have kept up with the legal battles are curious. They're drawn to the idea of seeing Johnny Depp, the master of transformation, step into a role that feels tailor-made for his current stage in life. Industry insiders are paying attention too. Critics who once doubted his return are now talking about how this project could redefine his career. Paramount's involvement alone signals that Hollywood is ready to put its faith in him again. It's not a small, independent film. It's a major studio production with a strong creative team, which shows confidence in his ability to carry a big movie again.
For an actor who was once blacklisted by parts of the industry,
That's huge. It's not just about the paycheck or the fame. It's about validation. It's about being seen again for the craft, not the controversy. What makes this comeback so special is that it doesn't feel forced or rushed. It feels organic, almost poetic. Johnny took his time to heal, to rediscover what made him passionate about storytelling in the first place.